Hello there, guys, and welcome back to a new Oliver Twist video. Let us remember together what happens in chapter 7 before we go on to chapter 8. In chapter 7, as you know, Oliver stays in Mr. Brownlow's house, and it seems that he has finally found a better home. He asks Mr. Brownlow not to send him away. Mr. Brownlow gives Oliver some books and money to take to the bookshop. Mr. Grimwig, Mr. Brownlow's friend, tells him that Oliver won't come back with the things that he has right now. Okay, now this was what happened in chapter 7. In this video, inshallah, we are going to talk about the events that take place in chapter 8. But before we discuss what happens in chapter 8, I want you to go to your readers, read chapter 8 of Oliver Twist, and on the CD, you can find the two tracks, chapter 8A and chapter 8B, reading this chapter, and then we will start discussing these events. Okay, now that I suppose that you have done what I asked you to do, let's move on to discussing the summary of this chapter. Okay, so while walking towards the bookshop, Oliver is held by Nancy, who throws her arms around his neck. She and Sykes take Oliver back to Fagin. So now we know that Oliver won't return to Mr. Brownlow's house as Mr. Grimwig suggests, but not because Oliver is not honest. It's because he is kidnapped by Nancy and Bill Sykes. The thieves take the money and the books from Oliver, and Oliver begs them to return them because he's afraid Mr. Brownlow will think Oliver has stolen them and run away. So the thieves take the books and money that Oliver has. They also give him old clothes instead of the clean ones that he's wearing. Oliver now begs them to return Mr. Brownlow's money and books because he doesn't want Mr. Brownlow to think that Oliver is a thief and regrets trusting Oliver. Oliver tries to run away, but Fagin and the boys bring him back. Fagin hits him, but Nancy rushes to take the stick from him and throws it into the fire. So Oliver tries to escape, but they stop him. Nancy defends Oliver when Fagin starts to hit him with a stick. One night, Fagin visits Bill Sykes to plan for robbing a house. Sykes tells him that they can't do it because Toby Crackit, another thief, has been staying near that house for 2 weeks and none of the servants will agree to help him. So now there is a new plan. They plan to rob a house at Chertsey, a place called or an area called Chertsey. Sykes tells Fagin that it will be hard because no one inside the house will agree to help them. When Sykes tells Fagin that they need a small boy to get through a small window to enter the house, Fagin says that Oliver can do it if they frighten him enough and that it is time for Oliver to work for his bread. So Sykes says that they need a small boy in this robbery. Fagin suggests Oliver to do it. He has to work with them, after all, because they won't give him food and a place to stay for nothing, for free. Do you think that Oliver will help them? Do you think he will agree to steal? Do you think he has a choice? We will answer these questions when we talk about chapter 9 next time, inshallah. For now, we are going to look at our quotation presentation to take a look at the important quotes mentioned in this chapter. Okay, the first one we have says, "Come home to your poor mother, you young fool." You will find this one on page 30. Who do you think says this to whom and where? Exactly. Excellent job, guys. These words are said by Bill Sikes to Oliver in the street. He and Nancy catch Oliver while on his way to the bookshop. They take him back to Fagin because they are afraid Oliver would tell anyone about them. Following one says, "You've got the boy. What more do you want?" You will find this one on page 32. Who do you think says this to whom? Great, it's Nancy. So this quote is said by Nancy to Fagin. She stops Fagin from beating Oliver, who has tried to escape again. She tells him that there is no need to hit him because they have him anyway. Okay, now let's take a look at the last quote we have here. It says, "He will do anything if you frighten him enough." You will find this one on page 33. Who do you think says this and to whom? Exactly. Excellent job, guys. These words are said by Fagin to Bill Sikes in Sikes' house while planning for a robbery. Sikes tells Fagin that they need a small boy to help them enter the house. Fagin says that Oliver will do it as he must work for his bread. Okay, at this point, we come to the end of our chapter today, but I want to share with you a part of the movie. So let's take a look at this part.
What's the matter, Mum?
Run away from his parents. Oh, wealthy, respectable people. Joined us at thieves and bad characters. Broke his mother's heart.
Young wretch.
Go home, you little brute.
I haven't got any parents. I'm an orphan. I live in Pentonville.
Oh, I hear him how he phrased it out.
What?
It's true.
Young Oliver! You come home to your poor mother!
I don't belong to them. I don't know them. Help! Help!
Help, help! I'll give you help, you little wretch! And these books? Have you been a-stealing them, have you? Hey? You little villain!
That's right. You give it to him. Only way to bring him to his senses.
I will, listen! You come with me, you little wretch!
It'll do him good.
Hold on! Find him, Find him, Forsyth! Find him!
Look at him fading. I'll be somebody. I'll be somebody while I laughed it out. Look at his talks fading.
Delighted to see you looking so well, my dear. Why didn't you write, my dear, and say you was coming? We'd have got something warm for supper.
Hello, Fagin. What's that? That's mine, Fagin.
No, no, my dear, mine, Bill, mine. You shall have the books.
If that ain't mine and Nancy's, I'll take the boy back again. Come on, hand over, will ya?
This is hardly fair, Bill. Hardly fair, is it, Nancy?
Fair or not fair, hand over, I tell ya. Give it here, you avaricious old skeleton. Give it here.
Oh.
That's for our share of the trouble. Not half enough, neither. You may keep the books if you're fond of reading. If you ain't, sell them.
They're very pretty. Beautiful writing, isn't it, Oliver? Send them back. They belong to Mr. Brownlow. Send them back. The books and the money. Don't think I stole them. Please send them back.
The boy's right. You're right, Oliver, you're right. They will think you've stolen them. Couldn't have happened better if we'd chosen our time.
Keep back the dog, Bill. It tear the boy to pieces.
Serve him right. It's the wall. Hey! Hey!
So you wanted to get away, my dear, did you? Wanted to call for the police, did you? We'll soon call you a van.
I won't stand by it until this is done, Fagin. You got the boy. What more do you want?
Keep quiet, Nancy, or I'll quieten you for a good long time to come.
Let him be. Let him be.
Oh, you're a fine one for the boy to make a friend of.
God almighty help me, I am. He's a thief, a liar, a devil, all that's bad from this night forth. Ain't that enough for the old wretch without blows?
Come, we must have civil words, civil words.
Civil
Nancy.
words? Civil words, you old villain! I thieved for you when I was a child not half as old as this.
It's your living.
Yes, and you're the wretch that drove me to it, and that will keep me at it day and night till I die!
Dodger. Charlie, put Oliver to bed.
Best to take them clothes off first, they're too good to sleep in. Charlie's right. This here suit costs more than 4p halfpenny. I never felt such lovely stuff. Have you, Dodger?
So guys, at this point we come to the end of chapter 8 of Oliver Twist. Next time, inshallah, we will discuss chapter 9 together. Until then, stay safe and thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.